yourself in a comfortable, not too close arrangement, and we'll get started. All right, for those of you who haven't already met me, my name is Carole Bonicelli, and I've been doing silk painting for about 15 or 20 years. But I work in all media. But I started doing silk painting. One of the reasons that I started doing it is that I wanted to make a children's book for a granddaughter. And, well, I'll tell you my first children's book story. When I graduated from college, I went around to New York with my portfolio, and I was looking for freelance work. And I came to Holbride, Martin Winston, and they said, here's a script, bring us back a children's book illustration. So I took it home, I worked on it, I brought it to them, and they said, great, we're going to take it. And they gave me a second book to do. And I did that, and they accepted that, and those books were runner-ups for the Caldecott Children's Book Award. And the book that did win that award was A Snowy Day, which was an awesome book. But if I had won that award, perhaps my rest of my life would have been doing children's books. But instead I took that money and I went to Yale and I got a master's degree. And then after Yale, I got a Fulbright to Venice, Italy, where I was studying Byzantine architecture and mosaics. And there I met my husband, who was Venetian. And our first child was born in Italy. And when he had a child, I decided I would make a third children's book. So I got back into thinking about it. And so my process, as I was doing this, I was thinking, what are children interested in? And I said, well, my granddaughter was 4 years old. She's interested in things that are small because she can look down and explore, and she feels empowered when she sees things that are smaller than she is. So I thought to myself, I went on to Adobe Illustrator, and I started doing things about bugs. So I thought to myself, I'll make a little book all about bugs. So, and this was A Bug's Eye View, Praying Mantis, Ladybug Surprise, Ants, 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 Aphids Marching, The Soldier in the Garden. So all of these things, and I thought to myself, well, that's fine, but there are plenty of books that talk about insects to children, so how do I make it specific to my child? So I said, I'll do a picture of Alex. And I said, and it'll be what I see and what sees me. And then it's a book for Alex Bonicelli from Grandma Carole. And then the things that she would be seeing. So from cocoons on trees come butterflies for you to see. Worms wiggle underground so quietly they make no sound. And then towards the end of the book, something about things seeing her. A turtle hiding in the grass looked up and saw my shadow pass. So I did many, many copies of these, and I had probably 25 illustrations done on Illustrator as sketches. But I didn't want to do it as a computer exercise. I wanted it to be personal. So I decided to do it with silk. So this, I worked this up last night. This would have been taking that idea and then doing it on a silk substrate. I'm just going to take the filter out of this thing because it's too hot to talk. Okay. So I'm going to tell you, for those of you who don't know anything about silk, I'm going to tell you about it. Of course, it comes from the silkworm cocoon, mostly made in China. At this point, very hard to get because of the difficulties with transport and other reasons. So this silk is silk that I've had for a long time. The resist line, which are these lines here, is pushed through a squeezable tube into a teeny little cone, or it can be a plastic tip. And these tip vary in size depending on how thick you want the line to be. These particular ones have a needle point here that fits into the tube, and that prevents it from actually drying up in between. Now, the original Gouda was made from a tree in India. We don't use that anymore. This is an acrylic. You have to shake it up to make sure that it's not going to mess up. So if you did a line like, and squeezed, depending on how much pressure you put and how big the tube is, you're going to get some kind of a line. So this acts as a resist, meaning that it stops one area from another area admitting liquid into it. So you have to wait until it dries, and it dries pretty quickly, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. The dyes themselves, these are dyes that I used on clothing. There are 2 types of, well, more than 2 types of dyes. This is the one that I use for student work because it can be set with a chemical process rather than steam setting. That scarf over there, that has been set with steam because that was for sale. I used to sell these things to Barney's, a store in Manhattan, and that could be washed. The ones that are under glass could not be washed. They have not, well, they possibly could be washed, but not the same way as something that you actually use. The waters would, the dyes would start to fade. And of course, dyes also do not do well in bright light. So if you have these in your house, you want to keep them out of the bright sunlight. This is a basic book, a good basic book if you want to start doing it yourself. So these ones over here, these were all done as demos for my students. Wow. And all of my students that I started, all of my students were able to do this. It's an easy process. You just have to take care, have patience, get a little motor control with these tubes, and then also as you apply paint, and you can dilute with water. And mix colors. The color mixing is absolutely wonderful. But if you wanted to do some of the paint, you would raise the surface. You wouldn't want it to be touching and it will bleed or spread depending on the pressure and the amount of liquid in the brush.
Like watercolor?
Yeah. And then you can check it on the other side to make sure that it's gone through. Okay.
So you paint on the back always?
No, I'm painting. You can paint on this is the shinier side of the silk.
Okay.
I prefer that, and the reason that I'm doing it here is because I'm with you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be fussy about how I was doing it.
Okay. Because it looks the same on the inside.
No, it doesn't. Because you can see that the shiny parts of the Gouda are on the top.
Okay, got it.
But you want to make sure that you get all of the inside pieces done.
So this isn't necessarily the front?
No, this is the back.
Okay.
Yeah. But you see, on that one, on all of these have all been steam set. They're the same on both sides. Because the steam itself is going to blend them totally. The only way I can tell that this is the front is because my name is on the front. Yeah. So, any questions, technical questions?
The brushes.
You don't need fancy brushes. You need things probably with a point, with a good point, because you want to get into small areas. But they do not have to be expensive brushes.
Oh, cool. And the actual brush itself, like whether it's sable or...
I wouldn't use sable. I would use
an acrylic brush.
medium quality brushes. Sable is more for working on paper. Okay.
What do you do for like a big background like that? more of a.
That was a
Sorry, that
gift.
was beautiful.
That was a gift for my daughter-in-law. One of my sons is a sports fisherman, so that was a scarf for her. So that was done about a
So
year
on a
ago.
big wash, are you using a big paintbrush or
That was a big paintbrush,
So
a
you're
wide
you're always
paintbrush.
applying with a brush and never just like dropping on and letting it?
I'm always applying for, in that way, I would be with a large brush. If you come over here and you see this,
Uh-huh.
these are the finished paintings for Alex's book. I did about 10 of them. She has 8 of them. I never actually turned them into a book, but maybe I will. So this would have been, these dots are made with drops of water.
Okay.
So it is actually expanding the ink that's already dry on the canvas, and it is making this lighter thing. So there are a lot of things you can do. You can also use salt. You can use a lot of other techniques to get texture. The caption for this is a lizard lays on a rock getting sunbeams on his spots, while a spider spins his web getting lunch on sticky threads. So in the book, the text would have been up here in white. And what I did over there also was experiment with different texts to figure out which I wanted. And this, you can see that a lot of the Buddha here, it really stands out. And I wanted that because the text here is fireflies come out at dusk, making the garden an amusement park or something. I think that was sort of the text. So I wanted that sort of otherworldly nighttime fantasy thing.
So on that one, is the sky painted before the gold?
No, it was all painted after the gold.
Okay.
So the drawing was done first, and then it was colored in.
Okay.
Not always, but in these two.
How long does it take to do that one?
I never time anything.
Is it like a week?
Never time it. So, and then these, of course, when I was teaching kids, they were reading, fairy tales. So this is Cinderella. So I wanted to bring it close to them, and and make it very accessible. That over there was a piece of silk that I had spoiled, so I cut it in half and made a shawl. Yeah. So that was 2014. So I used silk. I used the whole idea for everything. This is just a bag that I made. When we had to carry these things around and no more plastic, I figured, well, I'd at least be happy with it. I've also done it, I've used it in draperies and in wallpaper when I was doing people's houses.
How about this one?
That was from a wood block, a very small wood block, medieval, and it was a black and white wood block, so I blew it up and, turned it into a little bit of history. And also with this one over there, Troy. Where's Troy? Over here. There's Helen down here, you see?
Cards.
She's in the red dress. Yeah. So, I'd like you all to come and try to, try to draw anything you want on this. Take these little things, shake it up. Everybody come. Shake it up and then just do anything you want. And don't be afraid if it's, if it messes up, it's fine. We expect it.
I know you said, what's the Buddha?
It's an acrylic.
It's an acrylic,
No.
okay.
Used to be a tree sap.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wondered, it almost seems
Kind of
to
a
operate
rubbery,
like a blob.
kind of thing.
Are there other kind of things that are used as block, like wax or things in similar? I don't know anything about.
Yeah, wax, that would be batik.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, yeah.
So do you try not to scratch right onto the silk? Do you hold it up high or can you
You
let it?
don't want to scratch, you just want a firm,
So it takes the little learning curve going on.
of course.
Cool. Would anyone else like green?
Yeah, you gotta have your glasses on.
So cool. Feels great. How are you sourcing your silk now?
I haven't, I'm not sourcing anything. I mean, people still ask me to do things, and I will do that, but I haven't tried to promote anymore. I've started to work in clay now.
So you can mix these colors as well?
Yes.
What is in here?
Magic.
You have to regulate the amount of water to a substance in order to get it exactly right, and that takes time, because you're having trouble pulling it out?
Oh, no, I'm seeing
I mean, you're so strong, you can, it wouldn't make
the
any
green.
difference to you.
Well, it took me a while to get used to the
Yeah.
plastic,
Yeah.
like, so.
Is the bottle a bit
Making-
small? Yeah.
These are
it's too
these
small
are
for my
much
hands.
easier. This is a thinner plastic, it's much easier to squeeze.
What age children were you talking about as your students?
That went on.
I've taught everyone from
Wanna get this?
4th grade to graduate school.
Okay.
I'm happy. That looks great.
Just little practice strokes.
Damn, that looks
But-
really good.
That's when I first started. I could see how if you concentrate on the squeezing, it messes up the flow for me. But once you get used to it, you can get a lot of control.
So with these,
That's awesome.
what's the technique?
Well, you just pull
Oh,
this
you just,
out.
oh, I see. That's literally just the stuff.
That's so it doesn't dry out, right.
I think once you get out of control, then you can bring in all of those drawing techniques, because the hatching work and stuff like that is
Sure.
magnificent in there.
Yeah.
Like once you have that control.
Oh, yeah,
Go with
yeah, control is everything,
Yeah.
yeah.
The contour
Yeah.
marks and
I
everything.
have to know the right amount to pressure.
Yeah, and this is, and talk to me about this. So this is coming out like in this
Yeah,
All right.
way. Do you shake it up?
Squeezed it
Yes,
first.
that's to,
Got it.
get it fluid again, because
Got
it is, it's tricky.
Got it.
Yeah, so it
Maybe
looks
just
like
a
snot,
little
you know, so that, this should be better. No, it's not. So what I would do for this is I would just squeeze a whole bunch of it out until I got the
Until you
better
say.
stuff.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah. But don't be afraid, keep on doing it, try something else.
I'm afraid now.
I'm kind of afraid to try.
You know how to go?
I will. I'm working up to it.
Can you make my blog into a ladybug, please?
Where's your glove?
The little black blog behind me.
Look at the little
Can you make it
glove.
a ladybug?
Take this off. See, I get a little.
This goes out.
How'd you make the blob? It's such a nice
Did you shake
blob.
it up?
Yeah, I shook it up. I don't know if I
Okay.
shook it up enough.
I don't know, you'll find out.
We'll see.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, that was good thinking on the spot there.
yeah, no, good job, right?
Oh. Doo-doo-doo.
Wow.
So, it's a mushroom.
Oh, cute. It's not exactly what I ordered, but.
I mean, sorry.
I can't see my glasses.
No, but it's nice to get marks, and
Yeah, like,
that's awesome. And can it lay over itself pretty good?
Yeah.
Like, will it still work as a resist, or would you have to be careful to make sure there's no?
Oh, no, it'll work, yeah, yeah.
oh, there's more colors. Oh, this is bigger.
Oh, nice.
Beautiful.
These are,
It's a nice colour.
that's a beautiful color. This rosy sort of situation.
Yeah, so that's,
Your
Ooh.
colors are all.
threading the needle.
Ooh, right there, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can't. I keep trying, but my glasses
Awesome.
are steaming up, and then I have to
Yeah,
take them off, and then I
yeah.
can't see the needle.
No, but I've seen
So what
people
was the
do
trick?
silk painting with, but this,
Oh, there we go.
This is different.
Oh, you can go anywhere with it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an amazing,
Because it takes advantage
media.
of the fact that the silk and the color stuff, but also
yeah.
the actual drawing techniques and painting techniques.
And you can go, some of my paintings, the paintings that I do for myself, are done with the inks, with the dyes first, and the drawing doesn't come until later.
Until later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering with the questions like, yeah, the order of operations, like, and I guess it depends, huh?
It depends. I mean,
Yeah.
She won.
you know, that was just one of my scarf things, and it was just sort of like, let's do apples.
Yeah.
Or do whatever that was. And, you know, just free form color, and it was, I think this looks like apples, so.
I didn't know whether those were fireflies or snowflakes.
Yes, it's supposed to be fireflies.
That was my first thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fireflies come out at dark, making the garden an amusement park. Yeah. So,
Oh, nice.
so then, yes, you would lift it up between times, and you would make sure that when you put it down again,
Nothing wet.
nothing was wet.
Keep that off back.
So you'd move things around a lot. Of course, most of it is not, it's non-toxic, so
Mhm.
you wouldn't eat it.
And you're such a painter, because that's what we do.
This-
Yeah, we just drink turds.
So, what I have over here are some small screens. So, take one and make a design, whoever wants to.
Thank you.
So here's an example of what you might do.
Okay, yeah.
So this is using
Yeah, okay,
using
let's go.
the different photos.
How long do we get to say?
Well, you can,
I'm teasing.
I don't know, we'll go as
We
far
want
as
it
we
to
can.
dry so we can add some paint,
Yeah,
right?
so
Some dye,
we're
right?
gonna get rid of this one. And feel free to make mistakes.
You like the shiny sides on the inside of this one. Carole likes the shiny sides. And
So, get rid of this.
Not at all. I just sort of want to remember the light in these. Yeah.
But this one,
Oh, yeah, I just want to remember, yeah, I just want to.
this is stand there with this one, show up on the
You're the only
other side.
person here who can actually draw, right? You know that. So you better do something good.
Show us what's it.
And
And impression.
Getting that.
Do we, what color is this? Is this like a?
This is the colour.
No, I got a little surprised earlier. But thank you. That's really
Have a good day.
I got scared by this flash.
Oh, this is
That's beautiful. I'm gonna start something a little more. You wanna do one?
No, I'm watching.
You sure?
I missed the,
It's okay.
I missed the intro.
Well. I don't know if that's gonna help me.
Here's a painting that I did of, we were in Australia a couple of years ago, and we were in a rainforest, and we were with a guide, and we were walking along, there were about 10 of us, and we saw this huge bird, and the woman stopped us and said, hide behind a tree, and this was a cassowary, and it's 5 feet tall, and it will eviscerate you if it thinks you're prey. The claws are like this. And so I took a video of it as I was hiding behind the tree. And then when I got home, I did the painting.
Oh,
So,
also in danger.
and that's a silk painting, yeah. So this is the painting that, Bibi,
Mhm.
this is the one where I did the color first, and then I did
And
the
then
black line.
overlay.
Yeah,
Black lines.
yeah. So this was from Central Park. I was on a hot summer day. I was laying on an arbor, and I was looking at the things above me, and these were all these insects that were dried up in the sun. So
And the black is overlay as well.
the
Thank you.
black is the
Change the
overlay.
variation of lines.
Yeah,
How old is your granddaughter now?
24.
Wow. Does she like art?
She's a psychiatrist.
Pardon me.
Do you visit Italy?
Yes, yes.
I love this. I love your story. My daughter did Fulbright in Barcelona.
Okay.
I'd love to hear about that.
But I wanted to like soften it a little bit, just to.
I'm with you. It's all right. It's all good.
Borrow me a little.
Clean off the brushes with them.
Oh, thank you.
Carole, how are you doing the subtle shading like her cheeks?
Very carefully.
So are you using water?
Yeah, mostly, yeah, very light water.
Who's that?
That's me. That's, yeah. It's me, like 10 years ago.
That's
Almost
exactly like
3.
you. You really captured just the whole spirit of you.
The largest ones I've done have been 6 feet by 9 feet.
That's good scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
then,
good scale right there.
and I love doing it. I love working big.
Carole, I feel like you're so perfect at this medium. Is there any part of it that you feel like you still haven't quite mastered?
No,
It's
I've got
tricky
it. I've got it all.
for you? Fair enough.
There are a lot of things I have to learn about other things, but
As you've got.
pretty much
You know.
got this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then I'll put it.
Let me know, you got it.
You know, what got me interested in it was an Hermes scarf that someone had given me.
Yeah.
And I said, and of course you're so beautiful, and I thought, well, I can do that. So I figured, yeah, I would do that.
That's so cool. When you were selling, for instance, like at Barney's, what is the process by which they make, more than one of that sort of thing? How does that work?
Well, these were all sold as individual pieces.
Oh,
that-
interesting. Oh.
Yeah, and Barney's was getting $500 for them, and I was getting half of that.
Nice.
But this was, 30 years ago.
It's like gallery rates.
Yeah.
Cool.
really wild to switch from the harder to squeeze one to the softer to squeeze one.
Yeah.
Like just getting the control of the line.
Oh, pretty good for straight lines,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, if
It's tough.
you were working on your own table space and you had your
Oh,
elbow down and you
Yeah,
it would be
you
easy.
just work right through
Yeah,
it.
it would be fine.
But it's still just the technique of,
Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. I'm sorry. No, there are wheels.
it is
It's tough.
it's tough. And then you gotta think about accuracy of one shot, like it's the spider webs. Even though spider webs are playful, but those look like spider webs, so you gotta get that line all the way across.
Mm-hmm.
You got one shot. You got one shot to pull that off.
Yeah.
I just need one.
I think I have. Are you talking about the hanging wire?
Yeah, because I've got a clip, but I don't have a wire.
Let me look.
Shake it up.
This one seems to be pretty thick.
So if you want to, if those are heavy, you know, and you want to wait, come to the studio later and add the color.
Oh,
You know?
okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know where to go from here. Sort
I'm
of,
afraid we're doing
sort of
anything
thinking
else
myself
over
into Fair enough.
I was thinking about the desert.
Oh, that's cool. That's great.
Because this will take what? How long to dry? A little bit.
Probably half an hour at the most.
With your art. Oh, you got one.
I brought one.
How you remember?
And it lives at the bottom of my bag.
I'd like to see all these.
Maybe
Oh, sorry. I think I find spiders in here. Maybe I'll come back and add some color. Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I forget what I was going for. All right.
I like the motion of it.
That's kind of, I was inspired by that.
Yeah.
I get it. I feel like I understand the technique a little bit more.
Good size hat.
Oh, I'm ready.
It's a killer to go from when you cross over into where the stretchers are. I think you gotta be careful.
Yeah, you got a bump,
Mhm.
road bump.
Yeah, well, and there's so much, the canvas can be so thick that sometimes you can just roll over it. You gotta go really smooth. Yeah, practicing mark making this could be something I can have fun with. You really gotta be mindful of that. It's so delicate.
Yeah, when you make a mistake on this, it's really, I mean, you can always correct to a certain extent. but
Yeah.
It's not like oil paint where you can go over it and, you know, it never existed.
But I'm starting to see how, I mean, one, I'm not doing it properly, 'cause I'm standing up. I'm starting to see how you can just change the pressure a bit and then go
Yeah.
right over that bump, which is awesome.
Happy life.
Thank you.
Do different colors have different thickness?
It depends on how much water I put in.
Okay, it's all,
Yeah.
all in the mix.
Yeah. And how much pressure you put on and how thick the tube is that you squeeze it
So
through.
just a lot of variables.
Yeah. I mean, you can control it. It can be the way you want it to be.
Just the routine practice of it. That dark blue is really high.
But as I told you, if I had steam set them, that would have broken it down more, so it would have been more even.
It'll
And-
level it out.
And so, as I said, these are a student grade. But if you want to get professional about it, you get professional grade, and that gives you even brighter, deeper colors you cannot believe.
So just like all the painting we do.
Right.
Because even the student graders, some reds have a little grit for some reason.
Yeah.
When it's a lower grade, it
Yeah.
affects the way you
Right.
work on the brush.
But when you steam set things, you risk actually destroying the whole thing, because it's a very delicate process. So that's the downside. You get extremely, but you could have 100 hours wasted.
All in one go.
Yeah.
Awesome. I really like those, Andre. The hair's gonna take forever to dry.
Yeah. Well, some don't have it.
Carole, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, this is amazing.
No,
Yeah,
this is
all
right.
awesome.
Thanks for coming.
I'm enjoying this. It's a little paintervation, but
Well, you can always come, you can always knock on my door, or just come
Oh,
to
yeah.
the open door.
I don't mind that.
Do whatever you want, that's right.
No, that's awesome to learn.
Also, about brushes, you never put them down like this. Never do that.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you always would clean them with soap and then put them the other way up, or you would hang them from something, but you don't go like that. But you're forgiven, that's okay. No problem.
It got away from me a little bit. It's, I bet you're a great teacher, Carole.
Certainly destroyed it.
And a total hard I loved it, and I played music for them when they came in. This was for my high school kids. And I said to them, don't ever come late to my class, don't ever give me any BS, because this is gonna be the best part of your day. And,
Don't waste my time. No, I mean,
and they did respect it. And a lot of them turned out to go into the arts more than you would think, because they had a good experience.
No, they need that. Yeah, no, especially in what we do. Because what we do can get hard later. And if you BS it early, when it gets hard, you're gonna quit. But no,
Oh, let's see, I almost had you.
I'm enjoying this. I mean, no, there's so much you can do.
Yeah, I like your
And the
colors. I
line
like your
feels,
depth.
the line can feel the
Nice.
same, but you can make that particular line. But like the one that you showed me when you did the, what's it called? Gouda?
Gouda, or this is called Gouda, but it's really an acrylic.
Yeah, really acrylic.
Yeah.
Then when you did the acrylic over top, you
Yeah.
had lines moving
Yeah.
thin to thick. Apparently you just laid it over, but made it look like,
Yeah,
heck yeah.
yeah.
So with a brush, I would just turn the brush, but with this, you have to go back over and straighten it out.
So really the process in like for the scarf is, you lay down the color.
And then I did the, except for the, and then I did the, filled in the drawing.
Nice. So the centers are even first. It looks like you kind of feathered it out, or?
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
I just did a light wash at the tip.
Okay.
I mean, the whole beauty of it is that you can moderate the colors within the object very, very gently and subtly. If you wait a little bit until it's dry, or even if you do it when it's wet, by just using the tip of the brush with a teeny bit of of color on it, because it will expand, and you have to understand how much it will expand with how much pressure that you're putting on the brush. So this is a delicate but easily learned process with time.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun, thank you. It's really lovely.
So, let's say 1950, I'll tell you a personal story. In 1950, I had discovered 2 lumps in my breast. And this is at the time that breast cancer was a taboo thing. Nobody would talk about it. It was like sexually connected, and we were almost ashamed of having gotten it in the United States. And I had called up, I had been given the name of a very famous oncologist named Dr. Ashikari. And I spoke to him, and he reassured me, and I had the lumps removed, and they were not cancerous.
Oh, good.
And at the same time, a young colleague of mine in the school had had a double mastectomy, and she was only about 28. And she was talking over the faculty telephone. There was no cell phones. There was just a single line, so you could hear people's conversations. And she was upset because the cancer had come back. And she committed suicide. She had there was no backup, there was no support system going. So when that happened, I decided, I had just finished teaching Renaissance painting class in history, and I decided to do a painting of Botticelli's Venus on the half shell. Except that I did a copy of that on silk, and it was large, and I changed, I gave her a scar instead of a breast. And then I had the girls come over, my teenage girls, and I said, what's different about this painting and Botticelli's painting? And they said, well, you changed the flowers. And the boys came over and they said, well, she only has one tit. So we had a conversation about what beauty is and what early detection means. And so this painting went on to become a worldwide collection of artist paintings dealing with the subject of breast cancer, and it went all around the world. It was sponsored by the Susan King Foundation, so I sent them the painting. And it went all over, and I got letters from people in China, all over the world. And it also went into several book covers and other things, and it was published in a large book. And if you Google me online, you'll probably find it. So time passed, and a month ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I called up my gynecologist, and I said, who do you recommend? And he said, Dr. Ashikari. And I said, how old is he? Because he was about 70 when I spoke to him. And he said, well, it's his son. So it sort of came full circle. Dr. Ashikari gave me the confidence to move ahead. I did the painting because that girl had died. And then Dr. Ashikari operated on me 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So.
What a long journey. That's a journey. A lot of healing light for you. A lot of good prayers.
And I'm fine, by the way.
Good. That's good to hear.
That's good too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it also tells you something about art and how, if it means something to you, you can use it for something beyond your personal satisfaction.
Sure. Yeah, whatever that art is, writing, music, it helps to transcend you.
I put it on so thick that I was playing around with thicknesses and it was like, okay, I went a little too far with that thing. It's going to take me some time. But it's
I did too. That went on
it's
really
so
quick.
enjoyable, the process.
But it's interesting, yeah. Yeah, I like how the water feels on it. Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
Nice. All right.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for coming.
No, yeah, thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
your
I'm sorry.
pictures with you and
That's,
come by and finish them at my studio if you wish.
Thank you, Carol.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you for sharing that story.
Oh, bring that upstairs with you.
Oh, yeah, 'cause I'm gonna go downstairs.
These are great.
It's harder to tell. It's almost his phone. It's like searching.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
The worst thing.
You're welcome.
But for you, it's.